If you are retired or close to retirement, you probably track the obvious monthly bills like Medicare Part B premiums, which in 2026 have a standard monthly premium of $290. But one of the biggest silent budget killers in retirement is not a bill you see every month. It is the car. Today I will show you how to treat your car like a long-term expense plan, not a surprise machine. We will build a simple 5 to 10 year plan for replacement, repairs, and insurance so you can protect your routine and your cash flow. I'm sharing general planning ideas, not telling you what you personally should do. Always verify details for your situation and consider professional guidance. A lot of people think the cost of a car is the car payment. In retirement, that mindset can create stress because even if you have no payment, you still have a car bill. It just shows up in unpredictable pieces. Tires, batteries, brakes, insurance renewals, registration fees, and one repair that seems to arrive at the worst possible time. When you live on a more fixed income, unpredictability is the real enemy. So here's the big idea of this video. You want to turn unpredictable car costs into a predictable monthly plan. You do that by creating two things. First, a replacement timeline, which answers, when will I likely need to replace this vehicle? Second, a car sinking fund, which answers, how do I pay for the in-between costs without panic? Let us start with the replacement timeline, because it is the backbone of your plan. Your car is not only aging by years, it is aging by miles, climate, and usage. A vehicle that is lightly driven in a mild climate can behave very differently than a vehicle that is driven daily, parked outside, or used for long highway trips. That is why your plan should be based on your reality, not on what your neighbor did. Here is a simple 5 to 10 year replacement framework. You pick a target replacement window, not a single date. For example, you can say, I want the option to replace this car sometime in the next 5 to 7 years. Or I want to stretch it 10 years, but I want to be ready earlier if the repair pattern changes. The goal is not to predict the exact month. The goal is to avoid being forced into a bad decision when your car breaks at the same time as something else. Now you need a trigger system because most people replace cars at the worst time, when they are stressed. Your triggers should be calm and pre-decided. Here are 3 practical triggers you can use. Trigger 1 is reliability drift. If your car starts needing frequent repairs, and you find yourself thinking about the next breakdown more than you think about driving, that is a sign the car is becoming a stress expense, not a transportation tool. Trigger 2 is annual repair pattern. One large repair might be random. Multiple repairs in a year can mean the car is entering a new phase of cost. The exact number is personal, but the concept is universal. When repairs become a pattern, you review your replacement window. Trigger 3 is safety and lifestyle fit. In retirement, you might drive less at night, prefer easier entry and exit, or want new safety features. If the car no longer fits your body, your vision, or your comfort, that is a legitimate replacement reason, even if the engine still runs. Once you have a replacement window and triggers, you build the money plan behind it. This is where retirees usually get stuck, so I will make it simple. You create a car fund with 2 layers. Layer 1 is the repair and maintenance buffer. This is for the expenses that will happen while you keep the current car. Oil changes, tires, brakes, battery alignment, unexpected repairs, and the annoying little things like sensors, bulbs, and fluid leaks. This layer protects your month-to-month life. Layer 2 is the replacement fund. This is for the next car, whether you plan to buy used, buy new, or put a large down payment to keep payments low. This layer protects your future. The magic is that you do not need perfect math to start. You need consistency. In a fixed income lifestyle, a small monthly transfer to a dedicated car fund can be the difference between calm and chaos. Now, let us talk about the hidden category that surprises people the most: insurance. Many retirees treat insurance as a boring renewal, but it is a major long-term cost that can rise even if you drive less. Insurance pricing can change based on location, repair costs, accident trends, and many factors that have nothing to do with your personal driving habits. That is why you need an insurance routine, not just an insurance bill. Here is a simple yearly insurance routine you can do in under 30 minutes. First, you review what you're paying now and when the policy renews. Put the renewal date on your calendar 1 month early. Second, you decide what you're actually protecting. Some people mainly want maximum protection from large losses. Some people mainly want to minimize monthly costs. This is not a right or wrong debate. It is a trade-off decision, and you need to know your priority before you shop. Third, you requote or recheck options at least once per year. Not because you love paperwork, but because loyalty does not always get rewarded in insurance. Again, education only. The point is to verify, not to blindly switch. Fourth, you check how your driving pattern changed. If you went from commuting to occasional errands, your usage category might be different. You are not asking for special treatment. You're making sure the policy matches reality. Now let us connect insurance to the replacement plan, because they interact. When you replace a vehicle, insurance can change immediately. Newer cars can cost more to insure because replacement parts and repairs can be expensive. Older cars can cost less in some areas, but not always, and safety features can also affect pricing. That is why your replacement plan should include an insurance check before you commit, not after you sign. Next, transportation as a lifestyle cost, not just a car cost. If you move, downsize, or change routines, your transportation needs can change dramatically. Some retirees discover that driving less reduces fuel but increases the cost per trip, because the car still has fixed annual costs. Registration, insurance, and maintenance do not disappear just because you drive fewer miles. In fact, cars that sit too much can develop their own problems, like battery drain, tire issues, and stale fluids. So a smart 5 to 10 year plan also asks, do I need one car or two? And what is my true driving lifestyle? If you are a one-car household, the car becomes more critical, which means reliability becomes more valuable. If you have two cars, you might be able to keep one older vehicle longer because you have backup transportation. Now I want to give you a practical tool, the car cost snapshot. You do this once per year, like a personal audit. In one sitting, write down your annual insurance cost, your annual registration and fees, your annual maintenance and repairs from the past year, your annual fuel cost estimate, your parking, tolls, and car washes, if those are regular. You are not doing this to punish yourself. You are doing it to see the real cost of car ownership, because the mind always underestimates costs that arrive in irregular chunks. After you do the snapshot, you convert it into a monthly baseline. This is the number your car is silently costing you each month, even if you have no car payment. When you see that baseline, the car stops being random. It becomes a line item you can plan for. Now, let us talk about replacement strategy, because this is where retirees can accidentally lose money by being rushed. There are 3 common ways people replace a car, and each has pros and cons. Option 1 is replace early. You trade money for reliability and fewer surprise repairs. This can reduce stress, but it can also increase annual costs if you replace too often. Option 2 is replace late. You stretch the life of the vehicle and save on replacement frequency, but you risk more repairs and more downtime. This can be fine if you have a strong repair buffer and backup transportation. Option 3 is replace on purpose. This is the sweet spot. You keep the vehicle while it is stable, you monitor the triggers, and you replace when the stress and repair pattern begin to rise, not when you're stranded. The best option is the one that matches your personality. If you hate uncertainty, replacing earlier can be worth it. If you love squeezing value and you tolerate repairs calmly, replacing later can work. The problem is not your choice. The problem is having no plan. Now let us talk about the most common retirement mistake, using all your cash to buy a car and leaving no buffer. A paid-for car can feel emotionally safe. But if buying it drains your cash reserves, you may create a new vulnerability. You become less able to handle medical costs, home repairs, or family emergencies. So your car plan should protect your liquidity. Even if you love the idea of paying cash, you still want a separate emergency cushion, so one surprise does not force you into credit card debt. Here's a simple rule you can adopt. Never let the car purchase destroy the buffer that makes the rest of retirement stable. This is not a personal instruction. It is a general principle to avoid the I bought the car and now every other bill scares me lifestyle. Let us also talk about a sneaky cost retirees forget. Starting over, expenses after replacement. When you change vehicles, you often buy new accessories. New floor mats, a new charger, a new toll transponder, new keys, new insurance documents, maybe even a new phone mount or dash camera. These costs are small individually, but they add up, and they are easy to ignore when you are already spending a large amount. Put a small setup buffer inside your replacement plan, so you do not feel nickel and dimed afterward. Another overlooked cost is maintenance timing. People plan for oil changes but forget the big ticket cycles, tires, brakes, battery, suspension components, and major fluid services. You do not need to be a mechanic to plan for this. You just need to assume that every few years something big will happen, and that is what the repair buffer is for. Now, I want to cover one more modern danger: scams and high-pressure upsells related to cars. Retirees are often targeted with extended warranty calls, urgent messages about your coverage expiring, and repair shop pressure tactics. The safe rule is simple: no decisions under pressure. If someone is rushing you, you pause, ask for everything in writing, and get a second opinion if the cost is large. Scammers and aggressive sellers rely on speed. Your defense is time. So let us turn everything into a clear 5 to 10 year plan you can actually follow. Step 1, pick your replacement window. Step 2, list your replacement triggers. Step 3, build a 2-layer car fund, repair buffer, plus replacement fund. Step 4, do a yearly car cost snapshot and convert it into a monthly baseline. Step 5, Schedule an annual insurance check 1 month before renewal. Step 6. Keep liquidity protected so a car decision does not break the rest of your plan. If you do those 6 steps, your car stops being a hidden expense. It becomes a predictable category you control. If you want, comment the biggest issue you face with your car costs: insurance increases, surprise repairs, or the fear of replacing the vehicle at the wrong time. I can make a follow-up video that goes deeper into that exact problem with more checklists and planning routines.